How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we are looking at NIO or NIO, and we're going to take a look at where the stock has been, where it's going, and whether you can kind of plan out where it's going to go in the future based on their delivery numbers. So I did some math myself on Excel, and I think it's some really interesting information that you should know if you are looking at NIO or wanting to invest in it or you have invested in it. So before we get started, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. Also, this is the first video that I've done since I quit my day job. Like, I was just in my job a few hours ago, and this is the first one that I am doing full time on YouTube. So if you don't mind, please stay through to the end. Even if you just leave the computer on or the phone on while you do something else and leave the volume on, I really appreciate that. It means a lot. I'm trying to do this full time, so anything you can do to help out would be much appreciated. Also, if you haven't hit subscribe, please hit subscribe. I'm doing daily videos, sometimes multiple times a day, on what's happening in the market. And last thing is, if you want 3 free stocks from WeBull, they have extended this a little bit longer, so each stock is worth at least $8, I believe, up to $1,600. So definitely check that out. You could get a possibility of about $4,800. So check that out. I also get free stock. Just a disclaimer there, so it helps out the channel too. So let's take a look at NIO today. They are up about 7.5%. They were up about 10.5% a few minutes ago, and they have been on a tear. So as you can see here, they were about a $2 stock earlier this year, and over the last 6 to 7 months, they've been up a huge amount, over 1,200%. So what's happening? Well, they are reporting massive amounts of deliveries in China. So I'll show you what just came out today. NIO deliveries double in October, JP Morgan upgrades to buy. So they delivered over 5,000 vehicles in October, and this is a new monthly record, and it's showing about 100% increase year over year. So that is a massive number. Let's just be honest. I mean, 100% increase is awesome. They have the breakdown here. You can see what they sold and what they delivered there. But overall, in 2020, they have delivered 31,400 vehicles. The analyst here says, in China's smart EV market, we expect NIO to be a long-term winner in the premium space among Chinese brands. Obviously, there is Tesla over there too. There are a couple other smaller competitors, but it's really NIO and Tesla. They are expecting them to dominate 30% of the premium passenger EV market to reach about 334 units by 2025. And, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than this. With the way that they're growing, I could see it being more. JP Morgan's analyst increased their target price to about $40 a share, so that's about a 31% upside. You can see here that Wall Street says it's a moderate buy with about 6 buys, 3 holds, and 1 sell. Now, what I wanted to do was look at how the stock price has changed versus how the deliveries have changed. So this is the interesting part here. So can we determine where the stock is going to go based on the number of deliveries? Well, in February, they had about 700 deliveries, and they had a share price of $4.11. In March, they increased their deliveries and just about over doubled it. You can see here they had an increase of 117%. And the stock price actually went down. So I looked at the share price right at the end of the month, right around when they would be announcing these deliveries, and it actually decreased. At this point, I believe this was just due to the pandemic, and a lot of people were selling off stock. So that was totally normal there that we saw a decrease. Now, in April, they just about doubled their deliveries again, and this is closer to about where they were delivering last year, because it said they've increased about 100% year over year to hit this 5,000. So that means in October of last year, they had about 2,500. So they increased back to about 3,000. Their stock price went up a little bit, not quite to where it was in February, but it was still part of the recovery. If we look at May, they increased their deliveries by about 9%. So not a huge amount or anything like that. But then we see their stock price continuing to climb up. It actually surpassed where it was in February. Then in June, it started to get on people's radars what they were doing. So we were starting to get out of what was happening with the pandemic. The stock prices were starting to return to their averages or where they were before. And you can see they increased their deliveries again. And this is when I started to hear about NIO. So people started to talk about it on YouTube and in different articles. So it got on a lot of people's radar. and it went up 86%. So then after that, we actually saw a little bit of a decrease in July, a little bit of a decrease in deliveries, and the share price still went up. I think, again, this is just due to it just becoming a lot more well-known. So I think that's why it went up there. Then we saw it increase again to almost 4,000 deliveries, and then it went up about 48%. In September, we got almost to 5,000, so about 4,700. The share price went up again. And then October, you can see it went up to 5,000 deliveries, and the share price went up about 54%. Now, I plotted this out against each other. So in this graph here, you can see the share price versus the deliveries. Like we said, these dots represent every month. So when we saw the pandemic, the share price actually went down, even though the deliveries increased. From there, every month is here, but then we went actually back in deliveries for that 1 month. But you can see that it's growing pretty exponentially at this point, right? You can see a little bit of a curve here upward. And why is that? Well, they're becoming a dominant player in China. They're becoming a dominant player just in general. A lot of people are noticing what they're doing. So you can see that the deliveries aren't increasing that much, but the share price is dramatically increasing. So I will be honest, I have missed the boat on NIO. I was cautious because it is not an American stock, and I've heard some bad things coming out of what happens in China. And I'm not trying to say anything bad, that they've done anything bad, but I had heard some horror stories about companies that had been reporting massive numbers, and then there's some fraud and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, there are enough opportunities over here to invest in companies. So I just missed the boat. But if you look at this, you can see the share price is increasing so drastically while we aren't even seeing really a huge increase in deliveries. So it's kind of leveled off a little bit, or it's actually pretty similar in deliveries. You can see that the share price has, drastically increased from when we were delivering about 3,000 a month, or just over 3,000, 3,155. This was a $4 stock. Now it's on a lot more people's radars, and it has gone up dramatically. It's gone up 8x so far, and we've only increased deliveries by about 50%. So that is where I'm saying it now. I've been watching NIO, and I see it going up, and I see them reporting better and better numbers, and I was thinking about investing. But after seeing this, after seeing kind of how exponentially the price is going up, it's making me a little bit more cautious. Now, I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't buy, or that you should sell, or anything like that. I am just going to keep a very close eye on it to see if there is a dip. I might be buying into it a little bit, buying my first position in NIO. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I'd be really curious in hearing. Let me know if you like this when I make like a little graph or something, just to plot out and make you think about it in a different way, because we can see the share price, and that's great. We can see it growing exponentially, but it's nice to plot this against the deliveries, and that's the main driver, I think, in this company right now, is just how many deliveries they can actually fulfill. Now, they do have a backlog. They do have some other parts of their business. They have some other news that comes out every so often that can push the stock up and down. But I think it's pretty obvious, to me at least, that the main driver is deliveries right now, just being able to bring more cars and become more profitable in that way. That's the major source of their income. So I think that is going to be the main driver in the share price going up from here on out. Now, again, we could see some exponential growth just because more people are buying. But just to remind you, this is a $46 billion company right now. This is rivaling some of the biggest companies in the world. If we just look at Ford, let's say, for example, Ford's obviously a massive company, and they're worth about $30 billion. So they deliver a lot more vehicles than NIO. Of course, they are not on the cutting edge as much as NIO, but it gives you a little source of reference there. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching through to the end. I really appreciate it. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button if you haven't done that already. If you guys don't mind, checking out WeBull if you haven't done that already. Also, if you want some free stocks, it really does help out me specifically a lot, and then you can get some free money too. And you should get a significant amount of money out of it with a chance at making a lot of money. So definitely check that out. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.